Booktube, Science Fiction Reads here with a little vintage book haul. I have not read much since my last video. I finished a Lee Brackett that I mentioned, The Big Jump, which was good. And I'm currently reading it turns out hard to find, Nipt the Lean by Michael Shea, which is like this roguish thief in a fantasy type world. I can't remember where I heard about this. I've had the book for quite a while. I think Outlaw Bookseller mentioned this series or this collection, because it is a collection of 4 short stories, but it's kind of presented as a novel. Outlaw Bookseller mentioned it, which brought it to my attention, and then I was looking at it, and I think Bridger at the Library Ladder commented that it's actually getting expensive. So I looked it up, and it actually sells for like $50, which is unfortunate because there's other Nipt stories and collections, and they are even more expensive. And I'm loving this, so I will not be buying the rest unless I find them for cheap. But it is really good. And just a handful of books here. I found another H. Beam Piper I don't have. This is actually 2 novels in one. I have a decent collection of his books at this point, and I have read nothing by him. Probably not even a short story. But I'm interested in him because he has a lot of stories that take place in future history he wrote that are all sort of connected, take place in the same universe kind of thing. And I love that stuff. A Bob Shaw book I've been looking for forever, but it's the second in a trilogy, The Wooden Spaceships. This is a really beautiful cover art. I wanted specifically this edition, but I would have settled for anything. You never find Bob Shaw around where I am in Ontario, Canada. Like I've found maybe his books 3 times, and the rest I've had to buy online and stuff. But yeah, this is the sequel to The Ragged Astronauts, and it just sounds like a wild, I want to say science fantasy, but I'm sure it's probably more science fiction with just some strange physics and environments. I didn't really do my homework on this one, but I haven't minded what I've read of Bob Shaw, but I feel like I haven't read his best stuff yet. I found one of the few Robert Charles Wilsons I don't have, Burning Paradise, an author I recently became obsessed with, as some of you may know. This one is about kind of an alternate reality where there's been peace on Earth since just after World War I. There was no World War II. And it turns out this is because of an alien influence that's been interfering with mankind. And there's a few people who are aware of this. And when this entity or something finds out about the main character and her brother or something, some shadowy organizations come after them or something. His stuff is good. It's thriller-ish, but it's also science fiction and just sometimes creepy. I really like his writing. Michael Crichton, The Lost World. I can't remember if I have this. Haven't read anything by him, but I do plan on reading the Jurassic Park stuff. I think I have this in hardcover, which I don't need, so I'll just get rid of it and keep this. This was a cool find. The Fifth Galaxy Reader, edited by H.L. Gold. I think these started coming out in the 60s. Just a collection of the best from each year from Galaxy Magazine. So this one came out in 61, and it's got stories by Fritz Leiber, Silverberg, Gordon R. Dixon, Avram Davidson, Frederick Pohl, Paul Flair. Cordwainer Smith is probably the only one I've read, When the People Fell. There's some big names in there, and a few I am not really familiar with. I would love to collect these. This is the first one I've ever found. And the last from this group here, The Best of Robert E. Howard, Volume 2. So this is some sort of collection. I think there's only 2 of these that were put out by Del Rey in early 2000s or something. I mentioned him briefly in my last video, and a commenter, Chris, said I'd probably enjoy Robert E. Howard. And I've been reluctant to read him because I realized I had a preconceived notion of what Conan the Barbarian was like, and I realized it was basically just based off of the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Uh, so when I realized I don't actually know anything about Robert E. Howard or Conan the Barbarian, I hopped online and started reading about it, and now I really want to read Conan the Barbarian. I don't think it's probably as pulpy as I thought it probably is. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think my opinion, based on zero knowledge, is way off, and I'm probably really going to like Robert E. Howard and the Conan stories. I think there's only 2 Conan stories in this, from what I looked up. But there's like 25 stories in here. Just a ton. I don't plan on getting to it soon, although I might check out the Conan the Barbarian stories. I think there's a Red Sonja story in this, or maybe it's the other collection. There's also illustrations throughout, which is pretty neat. So that is one half of this book haul. These next 10 books all came from Norm at the bookstore on Pluto. I've mentioned him before. He's a local to me online bookseller, and I'll leave his link in the description. So this is my first Murray Leinster novel, like actual book. I have his collection somewhere. I still can't remember where stuff is now that I reorganized my books. Yet again, properly organized now, down each bay instead of across. So this is The World is Taboo by Murray Leinster, just this tiny little, what is it, an Ace book. This was like $1. I just threw it in to my order. I can't even remember what it's about, but I do know I love Murray Leinster's short fiction, so I'll have to give that a try. And Arthur C. Clarke I don't have, Dolphin Island. From the synopsis, it kind of feels like a young adult or juvenile story. I'm not super interested in checking this out anytime soon, but I do enjoy collecting Arthur C. Clarke paperbacks. Got a ton of them. Another Larry Niven, The Magic Goes Away. I thought I had this. This is a heavily illustrated fantasy about a world where magic has kind of been used up, and main character goes on a quest to find out why or something. And there's a companion book to this. I can't remember what it's called. Very similar title, but most of the stories in it are actually from other authors writing in Larry Niven's universe that he created here. This feels like it's probably young adultish, but I'm a completist with Niven. I'm collecting everything he's got. So that'll go up there somewhere. Philip Jose Farmer, Maker of Universes. This is an awesome copy. Who published this? Sphere. Published in 65. Oh, sorry. This one was published in 70. This is the start of his, I believe, The World of Tears. Yeah, Maker of Universes, first volume in the World of Tears trilogy. I have the second one. I just need the third now. Seems like an interesting premise and series. This one's cool. Edmund Hamilton's Starwolf trilogy. I don't know what that is. Classic Bookshops. I recently discovered, well, my obsession with Lee Brackett, and then I do not mind her husband's work, Edmund Hamilton. I read a bunch of his short stories in his collection of Best Of. This is one of his more well-known stuff. So this collects three books, the names of which I cannot find. The Weapons from Beyond from 67, The Closed Worlds from 68, and World of the Star Wolves from 68. So this is right, getting near the end of his career. He died in the mid-70s. Looking forward to that. This one, I probably heard of this from Outlaw Bookseller. This is Michael Bishop's Transfigurations. It might have been somebody else recently talking about it, but certainly Outlaw Bookseller has got me interested in Michael Bishop. This one involves like a paleontologist, I think, disappearing on a planet when he was studying the local potential sentient wildlife or something, and then his daughter follows up on his disappearance or something. Sounds trippy, sounds really good. And then these last 4 are all Poul Anderson, who I've mentioned before. I've liked almost nothing I've read of his, but he's got to be an author for me. Like, he's just got to. So I'm not giving up on him. I did like a story, Call Me Joe, the short story. And I've got a decent amount of his books, but I haven't read much by him. So this is Vault of the Ages. This is a Camelot, an Avon printing, I believe from the 60s, in a bag, in mint condition. Norma, the bookstore on Pluto, often has Unbroken Spines, really nice books for nice prices. And I am interested in Poul Anderson's future history. He's got a couple, I believe, but this is the Postal Technic League a lot of these take place in. Here's Merkheim. I can't remember what this one is about. These all sound interesting. A few of them have recurring characters or even the descendants of some recurring characters. So there's Merkheim. Second book in the future history of the Postal Technic League, The Trouble Twisters, with some questionable cover art. That is wild. Yeah, second volume featuring David Falcane, which is the heir to Nicholas Van Ryn. So yeah, these are 2 of his recurring characters, and I very much look forward to checking this stuff out. Traitor to the Stars, which might be what this is the sequel to? I can't remember now. Yeah, the last one here, Traitor to the Stars, which was published by Berkeley, I believe. And again, this is from 1964. Unbroken Spine. Awesome cover art. And yeah, I recommend checking out the bookstore on pluto.ca. I always forget, I'll link it. But yeah, nice little haul. And currently I am reading Nift the Lean. I would love to track down the other books, but they're so scarce and so expensive. I'd have better luck finding them in the wild, maybe. But yeah, that's it for now. Enjoying this. As always, thanks for watching, and see you next time.